Good evening. It is Tuesday, February 14th, and happy Valentine's Day to all. Welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show Post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We'll provide our opinions, positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. My name is Big Reg, and we're going back to the basics, going back to the original. Me and my man J3, the begin. And look who pops in.
What's up, Big Reg? What's up, Jay Wills? Jay Wills, you on mute, bro. Unmute yourself.
Retired players mess up. What's up, fellas?
What's happening?
Man, good to see you, Jay Wills is in the building doing a special appearance. Going to handle some NBA details with us before he has to pop back out, but we appreciate you jumping in, my brother.
Thank you all so much. Yep, the wife worked 24 hours a day, so that basically leaves me. Got my man sitting up watching the little TV. He will be demanding me very soon.
Not a problem. So let's get right at it. We're going to give you some quick hits, then we're going to jump right into that NBA news, do a Super Bowl recap at NFL news, and then J3 and I will hit you with our final post of the evening. So as always, we appreciate you tuning in. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. Fellas, this men's college basketball, the madness continues is all I can say, man. It is crazy. Number one, Purdue lost for the second week in a row on the road, this time against unranked Northwestern. So that loss made the way for, can I say it, Roll Tide. Mm-hmm. University of Alabama.
Picture that.
Gets the number one ranking in basketball for the first time in 20 years, since December 2002 was the last time this has happened. Just got to give Bama some quick props. They're 22-3 overall, 12-0 in the SEC, which is one of the toughest conferences in basketball. And they have a victory over number 2 ranked Houston, which happened in December on Houston's floor, 71-65. So that's why Alabama jumped from number 3 to number 1 over Houston, which was at number 2, because they have that head-to-head win against them on Houston's floor. So shout out to Alabama, Houston, Purdue, UCLA, and Kansas. It's going to be a crazy March Madness. Even the conference tournaments should be real crazy because there's no dominant teams in NCAA basketball this year.
No, that's a good thing because that means it's going to be worth watching.
Absolutely. Now, on the other side of the street, women's college basketball, we clearly got a dominant number 1 team in the country. University of South Carolina easily beat number 3 ranked LSU in the SEC showdown, 88-64. This leaves South Carolina as the only undefeated team in NCAA Division I college basketball, men's or women. The win also gives South Carolina 4 wins over current top 8 teams. They beat number 3 Stanford, number 5 LSU, number 6 UConn, and number 8 Maryland. All of them they beat on their home floor, with the exception of LSU, which was played in South Carolina in front of 18,000 people.
Which means they ain't scared to play on the road.
Don Stanley got those young ladies primed, ready, and they are hungry, and they actually talking about finishing this out right, trying to go undefeated for the whole season and win back-to-back national championships.
Sounds like she got the blueprint to make it happen.
Man, if y'all haven't had a chance to see that team, you talk about, you can see the difference in how she's recruiting. She got a bunch of long young ladies. I mean, her guards are like 6 feet, 6'1", where women's college basketball, you used to have the little teeny guards. She got a couple of those, but most of her ladies are 6 feet to 6'7".
Dawn's decided she's going to build her a dynasty in South Carolina, and she's going to try to run it till the wheels run off. I ain't mad at her.
Absolutely. UFC 284 was last Saturday, and fellas, the main event did not let down. Lightweight champion, number 2 pound for pound, Islam Makhachev defeated featherweight champion and former number 1 pound for pound, Alexander Volkanovski, who went up trying to get his second division title. The fight was bananas. It went all 5 rounds. They went back and forth. It was actually interesting. Makhachev, who's known for grappling, underestimated Volkanovski's grappling prowess. And there was a few times where he got him down and Volkanovski got back up, which never happened to him before. And Volkanovski underestimated Islam's on the feet prowess and striking. So great match. Got to give it to Islam. He was the bigger dude, so ended up winning the fight. But it definitely works itself out and sets up for a future rematch. In the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez beat Josh Emmett by second round submission. So I think you'll have Volkanovski fighting against Rodriguez. And then after that, you'll have a repeat. All right, so let's get to the NBA while we have our man Wills available. Jay Wills. Got to give LeBron his respect for becoming an all-time leader.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not an easy feat.
But then after that, we got to talk about this NBA trade deadline. It was crazy. So I'm going to just give you the floor and let you tell us what you think about what's going on in this NBA trade deadline.
Everybody's trying to make the necessary moves, make that final push to try to win that ring. I think one thing the organizations probably realize, especially with certain teams not being as strong as they you thought they may have been at this point in the season. The Lakers are necessarily doing what they're supposed to do. Brooklyn that's kind of blown up, and they've been having up and down kind of season last couple seasons actually. I think out of the higher-ups within the NBA knew, look, this season is wide open. Is wide open. You don't have your as many guaranteed slots. Yeah, you expect Boston to be deep in the playoffs. You expect the Milwaukee Bucks deep in the playoffs. In the East, you expect possibly the Golden State Warriors to show up. Utah Jazz, possibly the Dallas Mavericks, and it's not as deep as it used to be. So I'm sure everyone's like, look, we could take a major shot. So everybody put their chips out there. One thing about this trade deadline, I've never seen so many picks move. Get people the willingness to give up 4 or 5 picks, all of my second rounders, 2 or 3 of first rounders. We talking some people win this deep, I think to 2027, knock on 2030 door. People were everyone was willing to make that super charge to get their team as strong as possible because it's wide open. And I think it creates the opportunity and is going to make NBA playoffs a lot more entertaining this year than years before.
With that being said, Jay Wills, let me ask you this. Who do you think came out on top with all these trades and acquiring all these picks?
I want to see naturally when I saw the KD trade. Now I can't speak to Phoenix depth, but I think when they brought in that piece, especially with KD having the experience of playing in Brooklyn, not Brooklyn, excuse me, Golden State. You get to a team that's set, that's balanced, that's made it deep in the playoffs. Everybody's wondering how you're going to fit it. He played extremely selfless basketball, and he needed to take over at certain times. He absolutely did so. So I believe when he gets Phoenix, being he's already had tremendous experience, he's going to fit properly. He's not going to throw off the offense. He's not going to demand the basketball per se. That the natural way he plays the game will naturally flow with the way they play the game. Plus, dude like KD, I don't need to necessarily learn on all plays right now. 6'11" and no shoe on. When I put on my special edition KD sneakers, I'm walking out 7'1" on the basketball court with athleticism, excellent ball handling, and all I have really when I don't know the plays is just catch and shoot. And there's not a coach in the world isn't okay with that. So he'll blend nicely. I did like Kyrie going to Dallas. I was wondering how it was going to work. I think we've seen all the last game they just played. I want to say it was last night where you could kind of see the guys were kind of looking at each other, kept passing it back and forth, and didn't really have a guarantee on who was going at the final shot. So they have some growing pains to get through. They're definitely going to do what they got to during the game. But because they're both such clutch players, they're going to heads. I don't necessarily really think you're going to have the same issue in Phoenix with KD and Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is willing to take a step back and probably wants it in KD's hands. Now, Devin Booker is definitely about in this business. No softy there. He's willing to take that next stop. But he's a guy that I'm sure he understands. Look, KD. And Chris Paul being a guard in this league, a lot of people refer to him as one of the best point guards that's ever playing. I'm pretty sure going to say certain things that Devin Booker is as well. Like, we may need to force feed this guy to make him comfortable. Kyrie walks all handlers, so the fact that he's going to have the ball a lot is going to make him the ball off the get. With KD, they're going to fill him in, so I think CP is definitely going to be running play, kind of encourage him feel as comfortable as he could possibly be.
So with that being said, do you see Phoenix and Dallas being super contenders now against Denver and Utah and I guess you could say the gold and purple, the Lakers?
Dallas still has some big man problems to work through. I don't know I'm going to be able to do anything with the Jokic. Somehow able to keep DeAndre Ayton. So now you DeAndre Ayton with the 4-inch, 3,075-inch wingspan. You throw ADs down, it's gonna be nothing hands. They're gonna be looking like cheerleaders down there. All you're gonna see is a bunch of hands down there. So I don't know if Dallas necessarily makes the next jump, the big jump, but I can definitely see as long as Phoenix kind of takes some of their depth issues and see making a tough push.
Okay, and then what about
the Lakers pick up?
Big Reds?
Yeah, I definitely don't see Dallas working. I can't see that working in the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs, but the issue is going to be come the playoffs when everything slows down and you got to play defense. You got two players who are your stars who don't play defense. I'm sorry. So, and they gave away their two defensive wings where, as you said last time you were on, Jay Wills, you got to have defensive wings to guard all these top-notch wing players in the West. So my only concern with Phoenix is y'all know Chris Paul only knows how to go one way.
Yeah.
He's a holler and a screamer. That's why him and Blake ended up falling out with the Clippers. He only lasted, a season and a half in Houston with Harden, and Harden wanted him out of there. And why did KD leave the Warriors? Partly because he felt it wasn't his team, it was Steph's team, but also because Draymond was getting on that behind about him being bought all the way in. So either Chris is going to have to change the way he has dealt with other of his players, or KD's going to have to get thicker skin. And I feel sorry for Devin Booker because he's going to have to play referee to make that thing work. But everything's in place to make it work if they can get along.
And I think that's why he's probably going to be humble. One, you just came going around here yelling at KD. CP3, if you want to make it to the NBA championship and you got a real possibility right now picking up one of the top 50 players, you better be humble. You better be humble. In the back of your mind, you don't have the firepower right now with the team you have. Before KD got there, you knew. At the beginning of the year, I was writing guys off. I thought their best was behind them. The last couple of that just passed by. Now, you've been revived. You've been fortunate enough to grab one of the best pieces on the board, if not the best. So you better take your attitude a little bit. If you need to motivate them and do what you need to do time to time, I get that. But if you set out and you make it uncomfortable for the guy, you're going to shoot yourself in your own foot. CP, the only thing you're missing is the championship, and you will have point guard careers.
My question to you, Jay Wills, is how deep is Phoenix's bench? Because if they got rid of their best two wing defenders that they had, what's that to say about the rest of the players on the bench?
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get the piece you need. You might have to give the engine, but keep the car. So they're gonna definitely have it moves now, but it look. So yeah, they definitely gonna have a tune up, and who knows? Maybe players on the bench are kicking it up a notch. There are ways to pick up people. You got individuals like John Wall, who's been bought out. Westbrook, I think, is to be bought out. You might even want to give Carmelo Anthony a call. We just need 7 to 8 minutes, man. Need 7 to 8 minutes hanging in the corner, knocking down your patented three because he's up 15. It's not like he can't shoot. We don't need you to be. We just need you for depth. I think they'll figure the rest of that out. Letting that piece that you need to make this real drive. The West is kind of to a degree wide open. I think it was necessary.
Yeah, a sneaky little throw into that deal was T.J. Warren going with KD. T.J. Warren was balling for a while. As a matter of fact, he balled out when they was in the bubble, and then he hurt his knee. He's starting to get back healthy, so I think the bench won't be as much of a problem for Phoenix, just because if they keep DeAndre Ayton halfway happy and he realizes his role and plays defense, they can score with anybody. Scoring ain't gonna be the issue.
Right.
It's just gonna be them getting along, and can they gel by the time it comes to crunch time where you're gonna have to buckle down and play people real tight. Another sneaky little pickup that a lot of people probably ain't pay no attention to. I like what the Clippers did, picking up Eric Gordon in the 3-team trade. I also like what the Warriors did, bringing back Gary Payton II. If he can get that stomach healed enough where he can be back for playoff time, that can be another big piece. And the sneakiest one, Milwaukee Bucks added Jay Crowder, who's been sitting at home all year because whatever happened between him and Phoenix, they were beefing. And when they won the title, they had a guy on the team that was kind of not the enforcer, but just gave him some toughness. They was missing that last year. Mm-hmm. Now they're getting healthier. Middleton's back playing. He's balling. Add Jay Crowder to that squad. I think Milwaukee's primed for another run.
Jay Crowder, he's playing small forward or power forward?
Depending on the lineup, he can play 3 or 4. He should wing with 3 and D guy. Wing guy that can play guard a 2, 3, or 4, shoot some threes, but knows his role, knows he's there to grab some rebounds, play some defense, and hit the open shot when it's thrown to him.
And if it's small ball, you throw him in at the middle if you need to. He's willing to in the bank do the dirt. For some reason, the answer doesn't always get respected. You don't realize what you miss until it's gone. This guy's willing to do the dirty work. And he can hit the 3. He can shoot. So most of the time you have this type of guy on another physical player who may not be the greatest on defense, but the fact that you can play solid offense really leaves the defense imbalanced. He's gonna bring a lot of attitude, a lot of experience, and work hard attitude kind of matches what the Milwaukee Bucks already represent. I don't see him having a problem filling in, and he's going to be so excited with the chip on his shoulder that he's going to play super hard. He's in a team that has a great shot of getting it to the NBA championship. I think you revive J.J. Crowder. I hope he's been working on his team because he has an excellent opportunity in front of him as well. I agree with you, Big Reg, and J83.
Yeah, and with Boston dealing with their recent injury with Jaylen Brown getting a facial fracture when Jason Tatum accidentally elbowed him in the face while both of them was going up for a rebound. That's going to be interesting to see how that happens with Boston. But Boston did pick up an extra big man there, Muscala, to, just in case Robert Williams gets hurt again, they got another big body. Boston's the deepest team in the NBA.
I don't think they're worried about it. Of course, you always want Jaylen Brown on the floor, but they're the deepest at this point now. We've been, it's crazy. We've been talking about these guys for so long. At this point now, they do have some solid experience underneath their belt. They'll be okay. This actually gives when injuries like this happen right before the playoffs, they're almost unexpected gifts because it gives that next guy and that guy behind them a nice quick opportunity kind of tune in right before the playoffs start. You end up finding another guy you can add to the rotate because that 25 points, that 6 to 8 rebounds, that 4 6 assists is missing, and they need to fill that role. Will be one guy, you never know. But I like when. Not that I like the injury. I'm sorry for the man, but it does create the opportunity for somebody else to step up, and that's exactly what you need before you go into the playoffs. You're gonna see the Bucks down the line, and they ready.
Mm-hmm. You're on mute, Big Reg. You're on mute.
My bad. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Jay Wills, before we let you get up out of here, give me your thoughts on your boy Zion. He re-aggravated his hamstring injury. Going to be out probably another month.
I did that. It's hard to. He's so talented. He did lose some weight coming into the season. He did look like he was in better shape. When you're herky-jerky, explosive, sometimes I wondered if the body was ever really and prepared to take on some of that wear and shiftiness on these ankles and these ligaments. It kind of reminds me of when Doze got hurt. It's like you can almost see it coming because the freaking athleticism was just so crazy. I'm like, it's only a heel that's holding that ankle together. That's it. And moving at such a high pace with such force, I don't know if he can continue to do it at that size. And then if you lose a whole bunch of weight, does that take away from the physicality of your game? So
I got a question for you, Jay Wills. And tell me if this comparison is either on point or off. But when I think of Zion, I think of Charles Barkley when he first came into the league. Charles Barkley was just as explosive as Zion, made just as many moves as Zion. So when you talk about weight and physicality, it's been done before.
I don't know if Charles was as heavy as Zion. That young Charles, yes, he had some size on. He definitely enjoyed on that too. He wasn't afraid to pull up and drive through line anytime. I don't know 24 hours then, but I'm pretty sure he got what he needed. When I go back and watch it, Because I do. I love watching the old clips. That's one of Charles Barkley's the guys when they get talking about dominant power forwards and all this, and I'm talking to some young kid. I'm like that. I mean, look Charles Barkley or Dominique Wilkins. I'll show you some game.
Mm-hmm.
As he got older, he got a little bit bigger, but at the beginning, 3 or 5, 6 years, Charles, he was kind of cut up a little bit. He had some size on him. He was husky strong. So I don't know if he was as necessary as big as Zion. Plus, Zion Charles didn't have the issues where, like, I don't think he did because I wasn't there. I don't think he had the issue. People were like, hey, you need to lose weight or you're not going to make it at all. Zion was kept that from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even coming from college going in, he had that issue where he was gaining weight. They put stipulations within his contract. So there are some things that Zion naturally has for himself to have to deal with bad eating habit. And that's definitely something I think he's addressed. He's trying to address that kind of coincides with having a level of professionalism, and it's just basketball now. You're not playing. This is college. You're doing maybe 30, 40 games. You 82 plus games. You have to treat your body like it is literally the tool that's making you. So I don't know exactly what to put it on. I actually haven't had a chance to see how he tweaked the hamstring. Just with all the information that we already have, it unfortunately is a shock. And now if he's done a reasonable amount of wear and tear already, sometimes you can just see by the way a person kind of runs, like he looked like he's aching a little bit. It looked like he's aching a little bit every time he runs, even when he's having a game. So I really can't put a finger on it, guys.
Yeah, you're not too far off. Barkley was never as explode. Barkley could get up and could do his thing. I remember Barkley tried out for the Olympics after his senior season, and he was cut by Bobby Knight because he weighed close to 300 pounds. And Bobby Knight said he was just too big, wouldn't be able to hack it. But once he got to Philly and Dr. J and all them got with him, they got him on, got him losing weight, and got him to stop drinking so many sodas. He was drinking almost a case of sodas a day.
Sound like me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but he never. Barkley wasn't a 42-inch, 44-inch vertical type of guy, and that's probably the biggest issue. Nobody that size has had that explosiveness combined.
Through a windmill off the vertical. Like his explosiveness is crazy, and that's a lot of weight to be put down over and over and over and over and over. You're just a human being, man. You're just a being. LeBron, he understands it. Some of the veterans, I don't even want to pinpoint LeBron. A lot of those veterans understand it. You got to take care of your body. You can't eat crazy during the season. A lot of them don't even eat crazy during the season. They may have a meal that's super fat here and there, but most of the time he understands, hey, look, what I put in is definitely what I'm going to put out, and I know exactly what's going on with his eating habits right now. Like I said, he did have to do to come in a couple of pounds lighter than last year. We were complimenting him. Definitely looked like he was headed into the right direction. I'm hoping he just continues to stay down that path, and this won't be a continued trend. Because right now, Zion can't stay healthy. Lonzo Ball can't stay healthy. You got a lot of cats who are losing a lot of valuable time. Lonzo injury is freakish too. I don't know what's going on with the knee.
Yeah, it sounds like his injury may be career-ending, which is a shame. He finally got to a place where he could actually be himself and play and worked out his shot. And now he's got that leg that he just can't get healthy. So, yeah. One thing Zion did do, I don't know if the team made him do, but he hired a chef. So he's got a personal chef now. Hopefully that'll help him. He's got to get a better trainer to figure out bio metrics of his body and figure out how to work out to get him to be able to finish. Right now, in his New Orleans career, he's missed just as many games as he's played.
That's crazy. And look, the thing you can tell the private chef to make some salmon and sauteed spinach. You can also tell the private chef, hey, look, make me a cheesesteak, like extra mayo, ketchup. That's not enough. I need to know more.
I hear you, partner. Well, hey, Jay Wills, we appreciate all the basketball knowledge that you bring to the show. We know you got things to handle in the household. Give Trey a bang for me, and y'all, you have a good evening, good week, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for having me for your time. Appreciate you, brothers, and love you all, man. I have a good one.
Love you too, bro.
Same too. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. Good stuff. Always enjoy having Jay Wills, man. His love for basketball is crazy.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah, so the Western Conference Finals going to be crazy. I'm going to enjoy. I'm getting into basketball mode now. Super Bowl was finally over.
What a game.
We get heavy into this basketball mode. Before we do that, we got to talk about NFL. Got to talk about the Super Bowl. First, before we get into the game, we finally got the final two head coaching positions filled today. Arizona Cardinals hired former Eagles defensive coordinator, 40-year-old Jonathan Gannon. And then the Indianapolis Colts hired former Eagles offensive coordinator, 37-year-old Shane Steichen. Now, one could say that Gannon may have been a little too much preoccupied about getting his new job and wasn't able to focus and make corrections with that, what a lot of people was thinking was a possible all-time defense that got run through by Kansas City. But now the Eagles got to replace both of their coordinators, and they got a lot of free agents on the defensive side. So it'll be interesting to see how the Eagles bounce back.
Well, first of all, was there any defense played in the game? Because both teams scored 35 points, bro. Come on, man. In the fourth quarter, I mean, like, no one stopped either team. And if it wasn't for the fumbles and man, come on. Where was the defense?
Well, the Kansas City played a little defense in the second half because they only gave up 11 points in the second half. I attribute the Chiefs win 38-35 to one team having a better coaching staff than the other team. Because it was obvious the halftime adjustments that Kansas City made. They went from only scoring 7 points offensively in the first half, even though they had 14 at halftime. Like you said, Jalen Hurts had that untimely, just a fluke fumble. He's trying to change the ball from one hand to the other. It slipped. Then he kicked it. Once he kicked it, the ball was out open, and Kansas City scooped it up. Safety Nick Bolton got an easy touchdown. So you figure the Eagles played defense in the first half, only giving up 7 points. Kansas City played defense in the second half, only giving up 11 points, which was actually just a field goal and a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. But what that offense did in the second half, we watched it together. Kansas City's offense was lights out in the second half. They had 4 possessions and scored 3 touchdowns and would have been a 4th touchdown, but the player was smart and didn't go into the end zone so they could finish running out the clock and then kick the game-winning field goal. So
in the first half, you had Jalen Hurts running all over Kansas City's defense. Second half, not so much. But on the flip side, Kansas City, I mean, you had Mahomes doing what he does. I mean, he ran a little bit in the first half, but the second half, he was unconscious with it. So again, where was the defense? Where was Philly's defense? I mean, we talked about Philly's defense all season long. They had the best defense. They had the best defense. Well, one of the best, because 49ers was the best. And the way that the Eagles beat the 49ers, you just would have thought they would have did the same thing with Kansas City. They just laid down.
Yeah, the Eagles defense definitely didn't hold up their end of the bargain for sure.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, BJ, you know what the deal is. How can a two-time winning offensive coordinator who's been to 5 straight AFC championships, been to 3 Super Bowls, can't even get a sniff at a job in Eric Bieniemy, and is probably going to have to leave Kansas City to go somewhere else so he can try to get credit for the work he's doing, even though Andy Reid has said several times that Eric Bieniemy calls the plays. They went on record. Remember those 2 wide open touchdowns that Kansas City made in the second half where nobody was even within 10 yards of the players?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Bieniemy kind of saw that they were overplaying when he was doing his film review, and then Doug Peterson, the coach of the Jaguars, who's an Andy Reid disciple, also told him that they cheat. And Bieniemy was the one who drew up that dagger stop and sudden change of direction. Gets no credit. Can't get a job. He done won 2 Super Bowls. He been the offensive coordinator for 2 Super Bowl champions and 5 AFC. You can't name another top-notch coordinator who didn't get a job after doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we agree.
Yeah.
Jalen did his thing. Defense did not show up. Totally agree.
Yeah, people getting on her saying that fumble was a big deal. That fumble happened in the first half.
Right.
They were up 10 points at halftime, so you can't put that fumble on there. And Jalen was responsible for literally all of their 35 points.
Exactly. It wasn't his fault. It was the defense. They didn't show up. Did not show up. And we talked about Kansas City's defense. I didn't see too many plays where Chris Jones was effective. Did you?
No, you're right. Neither defense was able to flex themselves on the other offense. Now, each one slowed the other one down for a half, but when their offense flexed their muscles, they was able to do their things. I think the offensive line for the Chiefs might have been the best position group out of everybody, because what they did in the second half, they knew Mahomes had re-injured that ankle. We didn't even know if he was going to come back out after half. Well, I figured he was going to come back. We know what kind of condition it is to give him that extra time to do that. Mahomes only had 1 incompletion in the second half, and that was a throwaway to the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but on the opposite side, let's talk about Jalen and how he was throwing the ball downfield. For everybody who thought he couldn't throw the ball, man, AJ Green was. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, yeah. Jalen did everything he needed to do to quiet the doubters, and I really appreciated Patrick Mahomes in his press conference told everybody, hey, let's not overlook what Jalen Hurts did on the stage. He did it all. So when you got the opposing quarterback saying that dude balled and carried that team and kept him in, if Jalen Hurts didn't do all the stuff he did, because they shut down the Philly running backs. The running backs didn't do anything for Philadelphia. Right. So Jalen Hurts throws for 300 yards and rushes for 75 yards. It was crazy. So again, hats off to Kansas City Chiefs. Now we got to start thinking about, are they going to be a dynasty? Are they already in their dynasty run and we just aren't calling it, to make 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year period, 5 straight AFC championships, and you've already got the quarterback under contract long term, so you ain't got to worry about that. They know exactly what it is. You got Andy Reid, Kelsey, and now you got a young defense that looks like it's getting better.
Speaking of Kelsey, please tell me how you leave him open every play. How? One of the top rated tight ends in the league, and this dude is open like every time. Not one or two times, but every time. What is the Eagles looking at?
Yeah, part of it is scheme. The other part is Kelsey's one of the baddest to ever do it. I mean, literally. Mahomes put it that he played quarterback in high school. So he says he's able to see the defense as a quarterback, and he makes reads on the play in flow, and they're so connected together that they understand what the other one's seeing. So as soon as some of that stuff is improv, but as soon as he makes that read, Mahomes sees the same thing. Oh yeah, Kelsey's gonna do that. And yeah, you're right. I've said a few times, how is Kelsey 5 yards open from anybody? Yeah,
man.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy and they schemed that thing up perfectly, especially in the second half. So shout out, they did their thing. Now the question is, who's going to come after him and who's going to try to knock him off that perch? Can Joe Burrow and the Bengals come back and try to make a claim that they're going to be their competition, or somebody that we're not thinking about going to be there? And then what's going to happen with Philly? After you lose your two coordinators, you got to figure out who you're going to pay, and you got to at least start talking to Jalen about contract extension. So you think both teams will be back and make a deep playoff run in 2024, or one or the other?
Well, I definitely see Kansas City going back there. Like you said, if they still have the nucleus of their team, and Patrick Mahomes is still behind the center, I don't see why they wouldn't go back to the playoffs or the Super Bowl. With the Eagles, again, you need to tighten up on that defense. I don't see how you're going to get there.
Yeah, but that defense was a number 2 ranked defense all season.
I understand, bro, but I couldn't tell on Sunday night.
Yeah, one thing the Eagles will have a slight advantage of, maybe a major advantage, the NFC is nowhere near as strong as AFC. And then with the retirements of Brady, we don't know what's going to happen to Rodgers. If Rodgers gets traded, it's going to be to the AFC, not the NFC. Mm-hmm. So there aren't many killers right now in the NFC that you got to be concerned about. Now, if San Francisco gets a quarterback that can stay healthy all season, that could be a problem. But other than that, there's no real other killers out there that you're going to be worried about in the NFC.
Not at all, because the Vikings ain't no threat. The little people ain't no threat. The Commanders ain't no threat. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and nobody in the NFC South, all of them either going to have new quarterbacks or question marks at quarterback. And the NFC West, you got San Francisco, the Rams. We don't know. The Rams fell apart. They got old and fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
You got Seattle out there. Can Geno have back-to-back very good seasons? He's never done that before, so.
Possibility. And then, hate to say this, but what about the Saints?
They don't have a quarterback. And I don't know if their coach can coach. So, yeah. So, because the NFC, I think, is going to be weak. Now, we'll see what happens in the draft and free agency and all that. It's a much easier path than dealing with Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo.
The Jets. The Jaguars.
The Jets get a quarterback. The Jets going to be a problem.
Jaguars.
Miami.
Don't sleep
Jacksonville.
Don't sleep on Cleveland, because I'm telling you, Cleveland coming. Cleveland is coming. Now that they got Deshaun Watson, they coming. Watch what I tell you. Okay.
Are the Browns going to do Browns things, though? That's the problem. I had no confidence in the organization.
Oh, man. We forgot about Detroit.
They played great offense, but they didn't have any defense. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So we will keep y'all up informed and up to date on the happenings because we can get into the free agent season. Then we got the NFL Combine and Pro Days.
See BJ's comments. Yep, that's how it is, man. That's how it is. You already know, man. The NFL is the new plantation. Come on, man. You already know.
Yeah. And then they'll come up with excuses. Oh, we did a exhaustive process of interviewing and all that, and we just hired the best candidate.
Right.
So
tell somebody who don't know.
Yeah, we'll leave that there. It is crazy. Yeah. So what are you gonna occupy your sports time with now that the NFL is over, J3?
Oh, I'm just gonna hit the lanes a little harder now. Now that NFL is over with, I'm just hit the lanes because it's bowling season for me, bro.
I hear you. You gotta get your team ready for your end of the year push for them championships. I feel you.
Yes, sir.
I feel you. For me, again, like I said, I'm diving deep into college basketball and pro basketball, and then starting in March, we're gonna be kicking off, starting getting some good boxing matches through the spring. So it should be some good stuff happening.
I hope so.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to cut this show a little earlier than normal because we don't want to overload you with too much. But start next week, we're going to go heavy basketball, give you a little bit of hockey. And can't forget that the pitchers and catchers going to start reporting soon. So Major League Baseball is going to be up in the air. So it's going to be some good things happening. We're going to try to keep you abreast of the best in sports. All right, J3, before we get out of here, we got to give our final takes. So what you got for me?
So again, it's Black History Month, and I was flipping through the channels earlier today, and I noticed that they finally got the production of 1619 on. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch it. 1619 Project. Check it out.
Yeah, that's a good piece. That's a good piece. That's what caused a whole lot of this uproar in this country.
And it ought to, because it's ridiculous how they are trying to minimize democracy.
Yeah, I think they're trying to whitewash history. So
absolutely, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Absolutely. I want to make my final post, and sorry to end on a little sad note, but I again want to send deepest sympathy and condolences to a couple of families, to our brothers out there, to first and foremost, Sense and Professor J. Sense's sister, Dawn Boatwright, was laid to rest last Saturday. Gone way too early, and unfortunately left behind 4 beautiful children. So again, we thinking about your families, thinking about you two guys. We're here for you when you need us, and just reach out. We'll touch base with you, see how you're doing, but we're just trying to give you space. And to our other brother, Ed, and more importantly, our sister who lost her aunt, who's one of her closest on her side. Rashida, just wants you to know that we're thinking about you and praying for you and your family, and send love and affection, and hopefully as you lay your aunt to rest this Thursday, that your family will find some peace in this homegoing. And just, we're with you, we're thinking about you. And folks, if you got loved ones out there, whether they're blood relatives or the family you chose, let them know how much you care about them, because unfortunately you never know if they're going to be here tomorrow. So all the people that you care about, let them know how much you care about them as often as possible, so they can feel appreciated and know what you're thinking. All right. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. We're here each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for our live show. You can also download this show and previous shows via our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, or you can listen to our shows on your favorite podcast platform. Just put in Positions on Sports Talk Show. You'll be able to find us. We greatly appreciate if you hit any of those sites or any of our social media. Please like and follow and subscribe. Subscriptions are free. You can also send us a message on Facebook at Positions on Sports and at Twitter at Positions on SPO1. As always, again, we appreciate your time and, again, our opportunity. Y'all have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Peace.
See you.